unfreaking believable. I could not believe I did this, man. And also, you know, like years ago, if I would have told this would have happened right now, I would have not believed myself. I call myself delusional. I am an idiot. And boy, oh boy, like, I did not know that I was truly capable of this. And this is only just the beginning. Wow, this is actually getting weirder and weird. 2025 is getting weirder, man. Really get out of the show. And I thought we're in like 2026 or 2027 or year 2030, but we haven't even got out of 2025 and this happens, right? I know that, yeah, you know, I did a lot of, you know, stupid things, you know, that hinder my running performance, right? That just, you know, caused me to make a lot of mistakes and dumb decisions, and I still got this accomplishment. It's freaking unbelievable. And yeah, many people want to do it, but yeah, man, this is the craziest thing I ever did. I think the craziest thing I ever did in my life will be much more crazier than this, right? But yeah, there's a reason why I want to do this, you know, obviously, you know, to show people, you know, like how much more I can do in this world. And also, you know, like there are people that are 100 times crazier than this, man. Like they do way more crazier than this. And yeah, like to my accomplishments, it's like probably nothing. But yeah, I don't want to make that comparison because I gotta be proud of myself. I do not like to be compared to others sometimes, right? I just gotta be happy with what I got, because you go back yesterday or 2 months ago, I would have never did this. Have no freaking chance at all, right? And what got me to do this type of, you know, crazy accomplishment, right? This is madness, insane, man. Like I couldn't believe. Like I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life, man. Right? I thought 2020 is gonna be the craziest year ever, but damn, this year just like, oh my god, this is like even crazier than 2020. This is even much crazier. Yeah, I mean, if you just stay positive and just work hard all the time, right, and also treat your body well, you do everything correctly well, and you be patient yourself and work hard as you can, and yeah, it can happen, right? And even if it doesn't happen, I still be happy with it at the end of the day, because when you try, you can be much better than you know, for a person who doesn't try at all, right? Who doesn't give like no effort, right? So yeah, I know that people set a standard on themselves, right? But yeah, you can beat the standard, man, if you truly put in, you know, way more than you can, right? You just don't say, but you have to put in the work. And I have a video show, the proof of me, you know, running 10 miles in under 1 hour, right? That is one of the biggest accomplishments I did not see coming, and I decided like, oh, let's just go for it today. And my runs just keep getting better and better, right? As I gradually knows it, right? And then, you know, I start, you know, attacking accomplishment that I think I can never do in like many years from now, right? I mean, this wasn't supposed to happen, right? If we go back to year 2024, 2023, like I could run 10 miles, but it's gotta be way over 1 hour, right? I'm like, yeah, man, this is a crazy thought. You know, what is your final time? Just stop talking in this video. Okay, I'll give you my final time. My final time is 59 minutes and 37 seconds, right? That's under 1 hour. There you go. You hear that answer, right? Maybe I should post on the title screen so we can like this video, right? And that way, you know, that way you already know it, right? Yeah, man. I just got inspired, you know, people who are way better than me. So I took them as a motivation and just push myself through pain and hard work and grind. And what did I do to got this here? Obviously, you know, there's one thing that I secretly did, you know, that helped me to run much faster pace, you know, for a longer endurance. It's like, you know, doing high mileage, right? Just last week I run 80 miles, right? I ran 80 miles easy run and hard runs, right? So yeah, if you running a lot of miles, then running a marathon is still gonna be tough, but it's gonna be a lot less toll on your body. So mileage is the secret of like how to run like super fast, you know, for like long distances, right? As you can see, I cannot run a sub 6 minute mile, you know, like years ago. Like back in high school, I was like much more bigger and chubbier, right? If you tell me to run a mile, I barely break 6 minutes, right? But to do this like 10 more times distance, I would think like that there's no way possible, man. No way in hell, right? Of like this is absolutely crazy. You know, I mean, this is really special, right? I mean, 10 miles in like 1 hour, that's like not even 1 hour passed by and you already got 10 miles completed. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, the most mile I ever traveled, using up my legs only, right? No cars, no bike, nothing. Just running through my body, myself, and I just got 10 miles done, and 1 hour span has not gone through yet. Not even 1 hour, man. And it's only 59 minutes. 59 and a half minutes. Well, 37, a little over 59. You call it whatever that is, right? But yeah, that has got to make me really happy, man. Right? Yeah, man. Even though I was born, with autistic stuff, that's why, I was like a little rambling on and all stuff, right? So I'm just like shocked. That's why people ramble, because they're shocked. They didn't expect this to happen, right? So yeah. And when they tried, like, don't get me wrong here, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was very nervous going into this 10-mile run, and it was not a race. I obviously don't want to run the race because it's just so much distraction. They don't have a 10-mile run for it. They don't have 5K and 10K. I live in USA, in California. I have to tell you all this information. I kind of knew that I wish people can make just like this, type of event, like 10-mile run and all stuff, but they don't want to do it because a lot of people don't participate, and plus, like, some people hate running, so why would they want to go for like 10 miles, like doing something stupid like this, right? This is not stupidity, this is the competition I really want to get, because I only live once. I only get one life. If I don't make a use of it, then it's gonna go to the wasteland, and I'm gonna be ashamed of myself, and once I'm gone, right? So yeah, I'm just like fighting for my dear life, man, right? So yeah, tell me, like, how did you get this time in? How do you pace yourself? The pacing is so important, because if you run out too fast in the beginning, you're gonna die out at the end, right? So don't be like this guy on Instagram where he just like sprints a marathon like for 400 meters, then like just dropped out. Yeah, it's just pure stupidity. I did not do any that, to snowball, right? So yeah, what I did, I knocked down my mile time all the way down to a sub 5 minute. That really helped me and build like so much endurance, run really high mileage, and eat really healthy food. And that's what really got me, to build really strong endurance, really strong body, and follow your other YouTubers tip, like how they did it, right? I was just like follow all of that, and they didn't lie to me, and I did it. I did what I did, and I type in the McMillan's calculator, like, oh, if you train a certain way, then you will know your finishing time. And I look at based off of that, and boom, I got faster 2 mile, I got faster 5 mile, I got faster 5Ks, right? And my 5K time is almost like dip under 17 minutes. I got 17:05 like recently, like a few days ago, right? I just recently broke a 5:20 minute mile barrier for like 2 miles. I'm like, yeah, like my 2 mile run compared to my 1 mile run did not slow them down, not that much, like only like about 20 seconds-ish, right? I'm like, yeah, like, so what really pushed me, to my freaking breaking limit, right? What got me here? Again, I have to explain you by step. Just recently, on September, I have not run a sub 6 minute mile pace for like 5 miles, right? I haven't done this since, year 2021, right? The first time I did was like July 2020, and there was a like in this video, right? But now I upload so many views, you're not gonna find that anymore. You can try to find it, but if you find it, good for you, right? Just comment video, say, hey, 5 years later, you're running like 2 times the distance, right? And I accidentally broke the 10K run personal best. Oh my gosh, I'm like laughing in this video. See, this is why, this sounds so delusional, right? You get what I'm saying? I accidentally beat my 10K PB my 10K, you know, personal best was only 37 minutes and like 30 seconds, which is the average pace of a 6:02 miles per mile, right? If you were saying, right? Or 6:01 miles per mile back in 2020, right? I'm like, yeah, this is like my best day of life. Oh, it's never gonna get broken again. I'm like, boy, oh boy. I just ran that for an extra 4 miles while just hitting my PB, right? A 59 minutes and 37 seconds is no joke for 10 miles. That's the average pace of stinking 5 minutes and 57 seconds per mile. Does that sound familiar to myself? Not to you, right? Talking to myself, right? Of course. Yeah, and back in 2012, I really wanted to break that 6-minute mile barrier, right? I got the Garmin watch, and you know, I didn't have a track because I don't have a driver's license. I was only 14 back then, right? I was like literally a freshman in high school, right? I wanted to break the 6-minute mile, right? I should have ran more mile, period, right? So yeah, and I definitely have a potential of breaking 6-minute mile, you know, back in stinking 2012, right? And then, you know, later in February 2013, you know, I ran a final time of 5:57 minutes per mile. And then 12 years later, you know, now I'm holding that same PB that I just broke in 2013, man. Oh my God, 10 times the distance, man. I'm running like literally 10 2013s. It's absolutely nuts, right? Absolutely, man. And just, you know, not too long ago, September, you know, 27, you know, 2025, I just recently, you know, broke, you know, the weird accomplishment that I set for myself that nobody thinks this is popular, right? Running 5 miles in under 29 minutes and 20 seconds, right? And I almost broke the 29-minute barrier, right? I'm like, yeah, for people who almost break 29 minutes for a 5-mile run, they cannot run a sub 1 hour, you know, 10-mile run. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen, right? If you type on the McMillan calculator, right? If you want to run 10 miles in under 1 hour, you gotta have to run at least, you know, 5:45 minutes per mile pace or a sub 18-minute, you know, 5K for like, okay, you gotta hold it for 5 miles, not 5 kilometers. Don't get that wrong here. So don't be a fool of yourself. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? A 5:45 minutes per mile is fast enough to break an 18-minute, you know, 5K, right? I'm like, yeah, I seen that, you know, somebody ran a sub, you know, 6-minute mile for like 62 miles, just broke the 6-hour barrier. I'm like, yeah, I gotta try that, man. I'm never gonna try that. I already ran slower than it, so yeah, I'm not gonna go for that stupid accomplishment. Not gonna go for that, right? That means I'm gonna have to run my 20K, you know, in less than 1 hour, like 6 more times. That's not happening, right? At 5:57 minutes per mile, it's already slower than a sub 6-hour, you know, 100-kilometer run. That's already much slower, man. So yeah, as soon as you're running a sub 5-minute mile, every second is gonna count against you, right? So yeah, losing 1 second is gonna be a lot of work, right? Way a lot of work. Even going, you know, sub 6-minute miles, like, yeah, losing even like 3 or 4 seconds, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna require, you know, lots of effort out of you, right? And you gotta put in, you know, years of works. It does not come right away, right? So let me talk about my evolution of running, right? I first ran 10 miles back in 2015, right? Now, I obviously was not trying, so that's why my time was like 30 minutes lower than today, right? Almost 30. I don't remember like how fast I run. It's not important. Nobody cares, right? They only care about what's happening today or, you know, the future, right? I ran like 87 minutes or 88 minutes, something like that, because I tried to run a marathon and I failed to do so. I was like running around like a 9-minute mile pace, right? Like 8:40 minutes per mile. That was like back in 2015. So this is how much, because I really don't practice running at all, right? Yo, I stopped like after 2014, 2015. I have no motivation. I wasn't like really into it. And then, you know, suddenly, you know, like 2018, you know, I have lost like tremendous amount of weight, you know. And then I just recently ran, you know, like 10 miles and did you not realize it's like 7 years ago, like September 2018? I actually broke the 70-minute barrier. And I was like, this is like it, man. I'm not gonna go down any more further. I've just run a mile, and the 10-minute mile average pace is now in the 6, right? I'm like, boy, this is gonna be, that's really fast already, man. Most people cannot even run like sub 7-minute mile, right? So what happened after that? So I got overtrained, and now it's gonna take me 75 minutes to complete, just under 75 minutes just to complete your 10-mile run in 2018. And then 2019, I got it back down to like under 70 again, right? Something not new. So yeah, and then, you know, and I first record on YouTube. I wish I would record in 2018, but it's because I don't have enough stamina and energy, you know, to do this. But running 10 miles is a pain, really a big, really big pain. And then in 2020, you know, I have not, you know, hit a 10-mile, you know, I say that most of my record has not been beaten like since 2020. That's when I stopped, you know, getting faster, right? You know, for some reason, right? Don't need to explain this video. So I got my time, you know, down to like 60, just over 64 minutes and 14 seconds. If I was remember the time I just run a sub 5-minute mile average 2020, right? So in 2021, I don't remember I run 10 miles. In 2022, you know, I don't run any more 10 more miles, but I do 10 more miles on an easy or moderate run, but I do not run it as a race, right? So let's get evolution here. And in 2018, I was struggling to run a sub 6-minute mile for like 5 kilometers, right? I got really close, then I couldn't get any closer. I try again, and in 2019, I was able to run a sub 6-minute mile pace for only 24 minutes. Just right before, you know, the worst year ever, 2020 comes. I ran like a time of 23 something, right? 23:54 minutes, right? I was so happy about that, and still nobody cares, right? And then 2020, I'm running another sub 5-minute mile, 6-minute mile, you know, for like 5 miles. I almost did for like 10 kilometers, but, you know, after that, you know, I just suddenly disappeared, right? And then, you know, in 2024, you know, I just did a Pleasanton, you know, 10K run, right? And I was disappointed myself. I told myself, like, oh, this is the end of me. I can never get better. I was frustrated myself. I was mad myself, right? And then, you know, I keep messing up my body. I keep like making stupid, you know, mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And I was so impatient. And ever since July, you know, 2024, ever since we passed the halfway point of 2024, that's where everything changed for my life, right? My life has turned around. I'm never gonna look back ever again, right? And I promised myself, you know, not to screw around and fool around anymore, you know, I'm running, right? And had to be much more careful trained and much more prepared, right? So yeah, there's things, you know, I definitely could have got better, but like I said, you know, I'm only gonna improve, you know. If this was the end of me, I'm gonna be proud of what I already have already. Even though if I never touch a sub 3-hour marathon, if I never do any of this and any of that, this is the only accomplishment, you know, I'm just looking forward to, and I'm really proud of it, you know. I survived it and I got it, right? In 2025, I couldn't even run a sub, you know, like 19-minute, you know, 5K because I had an injury, right? I went through a lot of frustration and pain, right? But now, you know, all that, you know, suffering and torturing that I put on myself, now, you know, I got what I want, right? And now, you know, nobody can say bad things about me anymore. So yeah, I won at the end of the day, right? I sacrificed, I put in the work I'm willing to do, and this is what I get, right? So yeah, if I surprise you guys, maybe that is a surprise. Like I cannot run like just last year, you know, like that was my worst run ever. I couldn't even run. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I'll be lucky enough to like run, you know, like 10 miles in under 7 minutes per mile pace. I probably would have not done it, because remember, I ran 10 kilometers in around like 6:45 minutes per mile, just around like 42 minutes. So yeah, it's definitely under a 7-minute mile, but no way under 6 minutes, right? If I would have run like 3 more minutes on the race, like, yeah, you know, everything by myself, and then my adrenaline goes down. So it's definitely gonna go over 7 minutes for sure, right? So July, you know, I went from my marathon went from like a 5:45 to like down to like sub 5:20, right? And then this year I only planned like to get sub 5:10, but not sub 5. I should have not said that, right? So I actually ended up getting a sub 5, a time of 4:58, right? And after hitting a 4:58 in a mile, then I decided to like run, okay, 10 times. I'm just curious to see like how slow I would run, how fast I would run. I just did for my curiosity, you know, right? It's nobody should be against it, right? Because I'm just a curious minded guy, right? I'm just curious. I just don't want to ask people questions, so I just be curious for myself, right? And just do it, right? I know that some people run as fast as me, but they cannot run that for like 10 miles, right? Because we're all different, right? For Kenyan runner, maybe they would have run that easily, right? Even though they have the same fitness and same, you know, speed as me, right? So yeah, running 10 miles and over 10 miles an hour, like for 1 hour, that's gotta be exhausting, right? So let me talk about all my split, right? So most of my splits was around like 5:55, 5:56, 5:57, right? Only 2 of my miles were like over, you know, like 6 minutes, right? My second, yeah, so I went out pretty conservative, right? Just want to make sure, you know, like, yeah, you know, I tell myself a day, you know, day I run, you know, a sub, you know, 5:30 minutes per mile for like 3 miles. I'm like, why can't I just go for 10 miles? Like, let's give it a try. If I could see sub 10, you know, run 10 miles, you know, sub 6 minute mile pace, or run, you know, under 1 hour. If I didn't make it, it's gonna be close. And if I didn't make it at all, then it is what it is. Oh well, I'm not gonna lose sleep over this if I fail, right? You gotta fail in life in order to be successful, right? And you gotta take accountability, right? So yeah, if I fail like multiple times, I remember I failed my goal and I get frustrated, but now I don't get frustrated. I'm not gonna lose sleep over, like I said again. So then, you know, when I changed my mindset, then things have gone to a little bit more favor in me, and I had a little more energy to push, you know, like way more than I actually did, right? So I actually negative split during the race, during my solo 10-mile race, right? So I did run on the 400-meter track. So if you unaware, like, the mile is not 4 laps, okay? It's 4 laps and 9 meters. If you want to continue miles on the lap, on the track, you have to run 40 times plus, you know, almost another additional 100 meters. So as you can see, you know, I did, you know, start on the line, and I just ran, you know, an extra 100 meters just in case, because my watch was a little cuckoo, you know, and all that stuff, right? It did not record exactly 1 mile. Yeah, I already ran like 10 meters into, you know, like the 5th lap, and it's my watch is still recording like I have not ran a mile. So it was a little off, but that's okay, you know. It's a little lag, so I have to like speed up a little bit, right? Yeah, I just want, every time like I keep like glancing at my watch, you know, make sure, you know, I do not go over 6 minutes, right? 8 of my miles split are not over 6 minutes, right? Well, my slow split was like a 6:07, right? Because I had to drink water, right? Obviously, you know, every runner that run long distance has to run in the cold weather. I'm like, why is that? Because you know, like, you don't sweat as much, right? The longer you run, the more you sweat. So yeah, I drink like 2-3 pounds of water right before I started my run, right? Making sure, you know, I do not get dehydrated. That will really hurt my time, and that will really get me an injury prone. This is a mistake, you know, like, or I'm teaching you, you know, that way you don't hurt yourself if you're going on that long run, or especially, you know, in races like where you really do not want your time to be disappointed, right? So yeah, because I didn't sweat that much, you know, I only lose like maybe 2 or 3 pounds of water, and I weigh myself, and I did lose some weight of water, right? I actually just drink like a Gatorade just to make sure, yo, I have enough electrolyte just to push through, you know, the last 5 miles, right? After 5 miles, like, yeah, I got the 5 miles done in in like 29:52, right? So yeah, that means I probably negative split, and then I just took a drip of the Gatorade, and then once I hit the 8 miles, then I started like running a little bit faster than usual, right? 6-7 minute mile, I expect my mile to be over 6 minutes, but it was still 5:59, 5:58, right? And then the last 2 miles I run a sub 5:50 minutes per mile, and the fastest mile I ever ran during those 10-mile run was a 5:46, right? So yeah, I just like finished strong. I just like kept going and going and going and going and run so hard, you know. I make sure, you know, like, yeah, that run is not gonna go leaping over 1 hour. It is not. And I did it, and I make sure, and I locked and I secured it, right? So yeah, my fastest, you know, 5-mile run was literally only like 29 minutes and, you know, like 57 seconds, right? Imagine, you know, like I just ran 59 minutes and 37 seconds. That's like me, you know, running like double distance, you know, with a PB, right? I beat literally my PB for like 5 miles, you know, like doubling the distance, right? Well, not really, because, you know, because I ran a 29:08, you know, just a few like moments ago, right? That's an average pace. I ran like a sub 5:50 minutes per mile for like 5 miles, right? And I know that my fitness has changed, so like, yeah, I mean, just gotta have to like double those up, right? I mean, that's no problem, right? I mean, if you're running from 10 miles to 20 miles, doubling up is gonna be a little bit hard, because now you're adding more miles. Building from 20 to like 40, that's gonna be extremely insane, right? So yeah, this is me, you know, half an hour, you know, talking to you guys. Just what an amazing and what a beast I am, right? So yeah, if you're wondering how fast is my average pace is, that's like running every 5 kilometers in around like 18:30, right? Remember, my first, you know, 5K run, you know, back in Pleasant was only 19 minutes or 1, and I was shy of 18, of not getting 18 at all, and I was like, oh my god, I was that tired. That's what my dad told me. He signed me up for this, right, in 2019, right? That was like 7 years ago now, you know, well, nearly 7 years ago, right? And then, you know, just moments later, you know, like, yeah, like now, you know, I'm running much faster, you know. So 10 miles, that's how many 5K segments are in 10 miles, right? It's only like a little over 3, right? So yeah, running 18:30 is like literally 3 times in a row. It's gotta be, you know, that is unbelievable, man. And I can't wait to do that, man, again, right? So yeah, it's no surprise there. The longer you run, the slower you're gonna get, right? So yeah, so this is just, now, you know, I can like talk this and like form my own opinion, right? So running a sub 6 minute mile and running a sub 5 minute mile, let's compare that into, you know, 2 comparison, right? So of course, running a sub 5 minute mile is like, running a sub 6 minute mile is like nothing comparing running a sub 5 minute mile. It is absolutely nothing, especially if you're a long distance runner, right? That 10 miles per hour to 12 miles per hour, it is absolutely gonna be a humongous change, man. That's humongous, man, right? And some people just under a sub 5 minute mile can only hold a sub 6 minute mile pace for like half marathon to like 10 miles, right? Because I'm a distance runner, so running a sub 6 minute mile pace to like sub 5 minute mile pace, this is how many times harder it gets, because I hold that for like 10 times distance. That means it's 10 times harder, right? So yeah, running a sub 5 minute mile is 10 times harder than running, you know, a sub 6 minute mile, right? 10 times harder, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sub 5 minute mile pace for like 12 miles. If you do that for 12 miles, then that is definitely under 1 hour, right? But I'll never get there, man. I will never get there, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna have to, like, you know, end off this video here. And yeah, if there's more crazy thing that's going up on my running and videos, all that stuff, then I'm gonna have to post it, right? But yeah, I just did it. I did it.